What's going on? It's Alex from Alex Creates Music. After moving back from the UK, I have a temporary music setup in the back room of my parents' house. So I've spent a little while getting a good usable drum sound out of an untreated, just standard sized room. So it's been an interesting process hearing what kind of sounds I can get out of this room just with the mics that I've had and then that I've been using. I'm a big proponent of working with what you have, and it's been a fun experiment getting good sounds out of something like this. So 5 years ago to the day of this actual recording that I'm doing right now, I put out a video on budget versus pro microphones and what kind of sound you can get out of both of those and what the discrepancies and differences are. So I think it's interesting that while I'm doing this and recording in a kind of budget room, CAD Audio actually reached out to me and wondered if I would be interested in trying out some of their new range of microphones after seeing the previous video that I did. So they were kind enough to send me a box of awesome microphones, including this one here, this vocal mic. It's the A77, kind of modeled after a Shure Super 55. I do a lot of voiceover work with my wife as well, so we've been using this a good bit. So I wanted to make this video for kind of two reasons, just to show what you can get out of a room that's not professionally treated and how to achieve a usable result with that, and also make kind of a sequel to the budget versus drum mics video that I made years ago, but now with the updated microphones that CAD Audio makes. So I've recorded a drum passage 2 times, one using the microphones that I've been using for several years, the more pro mics, and then 2 using these new audio mics from CAD Audio, more of kind of the budget intermediate range ones to see what you can get with more accessible price points. So I'm going to go ahead and play the 2 clips back to back. First is going to be the pro mics that I've been recording with, and second is going to be these new CAD Audio microphones, which I'll give a description of. So to get to the samples, I've recorded a drum passage using both the microphones that I've used in several of my other videos, as well as now these new microphones from CAD Audio. There's no mixing or processing on these. They're just a little bit of level balance. These are just running into my Focusrite Claret interface, and then I'll link the description of the microphones below as well. After these clips, I'll let you know what I heard between the 2 differences in these, and then also show you a clip where I've mixed both of these as well to hear what kind of results you can get with a little bit of processing. So between those 2 clips, hopefully you can hear some of the differences between the 2 of them. Honestly, I was really impressed by the CAD Audio microphones. The differences are there. To me, the pro mics sound a little bit more tight and punchy, I think to do more with the just natural EQ curve that you get out of some of those microphones. But really, you can get a completely usable sound out of both of these. As I'll play next, after doing some mixing and processing on each of these, the results were pretty good for both of them, and I'd be happy on using these in any recording. The main things that stuck out to my ear were a few different things. So the condenser microphones, the AKG 214s that I usually use, were a little more clear, but I was really impressed by the CAD Audio condenser microphones because typically in this price point, you get a lot of harshness, especially in the upper register with these kind of pencil condenser microphones. microphones, and that really wasn't here. There is a natural bump in the highs on the CAD audio condensers, which I think works pretty well with cymbals without them getting really overly harsh, especially on like, your crash cymbals or the stick definition. The kick and snare I was really impressed with. The snare sounded very similar, almost identical to an SM57 to me, and had excellent rejection, as you can kind of hear in the hats and the other cymbals. The kick microphone, the CAD audio had a lot more low end to it than the Beta 52, in my opinion. I'm not a huge fan of the Beta 52, but I have it usually as a kick out microphone and get a lot of the beater definition from a Beta 91 that I stick inside my kick drum. But with the CAD audio microphone, I still got that low end response and was able to boost a little bit more top end to get some of the beater attack out of there, so you can have a completely usable kick drum sound from that. So the microphones I was most excited to try out from CAD audio were these tom microphones. In fact, they were the first thing I really kind of set up and played a tom groove on these just to hear what they sounded like. They're condenser microphones modeled after the Shure Beta 98, so they clip right on the rim of your drum, and they're a little more maneuverable because of the goosenecks. I did have a little bit of an issue moving them around, just the goosenecks would tend to snap back to kind of the position that they were boxed up in just after hitting the drums a little bit. That vibration just kind of moved them around a little bit, but I think that will kind of fix itself over time as they get broken in. The main thing that I noticed with these was that they have a lot better high-end response. You get more of the stick attack on the tom, which I usually have to boost out of the other microphones post-processing wise. Now, there was a lot of kind of nasally lower mids that I found, specifically in the about maybe 200 hertz to 1 kilohertz range. I know that sounds like a huge range, but if I'd made a cut in those, as you'll hear in the next clip after processing, it really opened up the microphones in a really pleasing way afterwards. So they're very responsive to EQ in that sense. So these next couple clips are going to be the same performance that you just saw, but now they're going to have mixed audio. So with these, I'm doing some light processing with a few of my favorite plugins that I typically use on drums. I'll let you hear what they sound like. So you can hopefully hear from these clips, again, doing some processing, you can get, in my opinion, completely usable results from these. And these are really competitive for the price point that they're at. I think now with advances in technology, we're getting a lot closer to having professional sounding gear at a more affordable price range, which makes it a lot more affordable and approachable for people that are just doing recording at home or in a, kind of basement studio or things like that, or even just a professional studio. Having some extra mics on hand can really come in handy. So let me know what you think, what kind of microphones you're using in your setup, how you get around recording in whichever room you're in. I'd be really curious to hear about that, and I'm always happy to nerd out about that kind of stuff as well. Thanks again to CAD Audio for sending me these microphones to include in my arsenal. They're going to be seeing a lot of use going forward. And thank you for watching and tuning in. Please let me know what you think in the comments and what kind of videos you'd like to see next, and I will keep you posted. We'll see you next time. Thanks.